Water?
Yeah. Mic check, yo. Yo. All right, there we go. How's it going tonight, everyone? So, I guess we could call this an emergency live stream because I'm going to need some help. See, at first, I had 2 videos taken down. Now, I've never had that happen before. Like, I've got a bad human reviewer before that has literally demonetized everything for 2 weeks. That's how I figured out about how long you have a human reviewer for. They seem to switch about every 2 weeks. But this particular one is just removing content. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Anyway, and I don't know what to do about it. Because I had an option to get, they call it a YouTube manager or something like that on your channel. But because I've had bad experience with human reviewers before where they just go on a demonetization campaign, I opted not to click the button.
I want to talk.
Sure, click talk. But I got to talk about important stuff, so.
I had happy ice cream candy and buckets of my vegetable food at a brush my teeth. Subscribe my channel. Bye.
All right, watch out. My turn. Can she say super chat? Can you say super chat?
Super chat!
So anyway, I opted not to go with the account manager because I've had bad experiences with reviewers before where they've just demonetized everything I uploaded. I could have uploaded a video and been like, hi, my name's Matt, and would have got demonetized. Now that I'm in this little predicament, I'm not really sure what to do because I don't have a YouTube manager. And I don't know how to get a YouTube manager now. So if any of you guys are like actively talking to a bigger channel, see if you can talk to them to see if they'll help me out. Because I got to figure out how to get a YouTube manager now to be like, hey, I need you to take a look at this stuff because these were made in error. Now, a little bit earlier, I thought that somebody had just went on a flagging campaign because it made no sense. I'm like, why would that get taken down? Because all I'm doing is testing armor. And on a very important topic, because I'm testing it against hunting calibers. And nobody tested on hunting calibers because most armor will fail on a hunting caliber because they just can't handle the velocity.
Yeah.
So we need to know exactly what hunting calibers it can handle, if that's a practical application, because I live in a hunting state. So if you wear body armor when you're hunting, you're probably going to want something that's able to stop a hunting caliber. But anyway, yeah, so I need to get a hold of somebody that's in a bigger channel that's actually able to talk to YouTube on the regular to see if they can help me get set up with, what are they called? Like a YouTube agent or something like that for my channel? Because I don't know how, and I don't have the option to like just go in my settings and apply for one.
I want to talk.
Go ahead.
I can't move. So, there's a video I was dirty, and in the comments is show, and I since Disneyland is Frozen, Elsa, Anna, and Hans. And Kristopher Ervin, Olaf, and Mermaids, and Tiana, and it's so cute. And I go to Mom, it's super sweet. I go to
all right, slide over. It's my turn.
And subscribe. Bye.
All right, so basically she was saying that she just beat Left 4 Dead again. She went through all the maps with Rochelle, and beat all the maps. But, so they didn't actually say what was wrong with the video. The email just says, we reviewed your content carefully, and we have confirmed that it violates our firearms policy. We know this is probably disappointing news, but our job to make sure that YouTube is a safe place for all. That was why they deleted the video. So, yeah, I have no idea. And again, it was important because not only that, I was explaining to you guys how a lot of people are using BS with armor testing, because they'll take a projectile that they absolutely know doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell at going through armor, and they'll test it against the armor, and they'll be like, oh, it colored me impressed like that. That is amazing. I can't believe it stopped it when it's moving slower than 3,000 feet per second. The only thing that defeats armor is velocity. So I took some 45 grain 5.56, which is just your standard varmint round, and I destroyed everything from steel. I didn't drop the ceramic video yet, but ceramic level 3 plus, steel level 3 plus. I think that's the rating on this. This is actually AR 600. No problems whatsoever. Just goes right through it. And that was the whole point of what I was going to do with armor testing, is I was going to figure out exactly what armor does actually stop hunting calibers. Even level 4 armor has a velocity limit on it. I don't know what that velocity is or if I can achieve it with a rifle projectile, so I may have to use something with a hardened tip so I don't have to use quite as much velocity. But basically, 3,100 feet per second, 3,200 feet per second, you can go through everything without a problem. And they'll load up. And then I was also showing that M193 was actually a threat to that, but I had some PMC, which for whatever reason was shooting cold, and it was only shooting at 2,800 feet per second because I actually chronographed it. So I was having no problem stopping the M193. It didn't even scratch it. Then I was going to bring that plate back out there and bring some, I believe it's Browning, that actually chronographs at 3,250, and it would have either punched through or left a nice little welt in there. Just by a couple hundred feet per second. Not yet. It actually makes that much of a difference. All right, talk. Yeah, basically, your combat rifles, your level 3 will stop without a problem. You get out into the woods where, there's hunting rifles, that's not going to stop anything anymore.
And I got my tail hurting, but they're sharp and stuck. And her hair and out. So how can we? And it's Christmas last year. Subscribe.
All right. Thank you for the $5 super chat. I was just trying to watch that video. It is anywhere else. No, it didn't actually get enough time to upload to Gunstreamer. I do have a Gunstreamer account. I've tried uploading directly to that site a couple of times, and I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, but I can't get videos to upload directly to Gunstreamer. They have to be copied off of my YouTube because it wasn't on YouTube long enough. It never made it onto Gunstreamer. I'm going to try my hardest to get it uploaded there, but I've already tried so many times to upload to Gunstreamer directly, and I just can't do it. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I do have a BitChute account, but I never actually set it up. Maybe I'll get that set up and start uploading to there too. Firearms, talk to Gungeon Gadgets as well as Demolition Ranch. It doesn't work like that because I call the truth no matter where it lies. It doesn't really matter. That irritates a lot of people, and most people just don't talk to me. I think maybe I could get the Military Arms channel to talk to me just because I had his back in that one video. But I've tried to talk to bigger channels before several times about several questions. Never get a response. Actually, I take that back. Paul Harold, I got a response from because I told him that, hey, I was jabbing his fan club because they're so sensitive about Paul Harold. They actually became a soft target. And there's so many of them. It's a very, very large soft target. And I was like, hey, I'm jabbing your fan base on my channel to get a rise out of them. If it ever becomes a problem or anything like that, just shoot me a message and I'll stop right away. And he was like, oh, okay, so what are you doing? And I sent him everything I was doing. He's like, yeah, that stuff don't matter. Have at it. Poke away. There's Solos. Thanks for sticking up for the Second Amendment community. Oh, yeah, if you want to make sure I see a message. Obviously, super chat will work because then I'll just freeze it right there. Reno may help. That's actually a good idea because I actually talked to him. But otherwise, when I'm actually looking at the comments is the best time to send me a comment. Talked to Brandon Herrera. I tried to get a hold of him before when I was doing an AK video because I needed some help on some stats, and he never talked to me back, so I don't think he likes me either. Yeah, Paul is awesome. 17 is the question. What about Donut? I never tried to talk to Donut. Maybe he would talk to me. I did get a hold of Angry Cop once, but only once, and it was because I was doing a reaction to his video and I wanted to make sure it was okay beforehand. He may talk to me, but even if it took him months to reply. But yeah, I'll get a hold of Reno May and see if he can help me out because I just spent like the last half an hour trying to figure out how to get a YouTube agent, and I wasn't able to. I sent YouTube a tweet. Maybe that'll work. Tactical Toolbox. That's actually a really good idea. I haven't talked to him in like 2 years, but he does actually talk to people. Mr. Guns and Gear answers every questions I've ever asked. Can you ask him to help me? Like, I don't know if you're able to talk to him like direct messaging to where he could just come on this live stream right away or something like that. Because seriously, it's terrifying. Right now, I haven't got any strikes yet. So that's good. But if I get a strike, I'll lose my... Do I lose monetization? No. I lose my ability to live stream and post to my community. And then if you get 3 strikes in 90 days, that's a channel takedown. That's a big deal. The Firearms guy. I'm not familiar with that channel. YouTube is trying to run everyone's fun again. They might be just like letting me know who's in charge, but I highly doubt they're trying to just chase us off the platform because that's just bad for business. You know, maybe I did go a little hardcore with the title because I think the title was something like, I specifically make my firearms for body armor. I watched the vid. No reason they pulled it. Maybe the title. I think it might have been the title because I did say it. But still, like, I've had some cringy titles before. Like, that's pretty crazy. I could just have a bad human reviewer right now. When did I get my first one? Let me check real quick so I can see how much longer I'll have this reviewer for. Oh, that was earlier this week. Yeah, I got that human reviewer for at least 1 more week. So that kind of sucks. What was the title? The title was My Firearms Are Made Specifically for Body Armor. Oh, I know. I don't understand why I would have a body armor testing video taken down, especially because I was specifically testing cartridges that fly through body armor, which are hunting cartridges. Do I want to know how? Maybe I'll remake the video, but instead of like making it obvious I'm trying to stop the armor, I don't know. I'll have to think about that one for a little bit. SCTF. They watch all your videos. Are you in the lab radar? Are you in the lab radar? I was actually going to use the lab radar to chronograph everything so we could determine exactly what velocity it takes to go through the armor. But I literally put the lab radar on the tripod, and it broke, and it fell down. So I only had my camera tripod. The video was cool, pretty cool, by the way. Just finished it an hour ago. Guns and gear kills armor every single time they stay up. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea why. Yeah, I had a GoPro really close and then one far away by me because I was like 25, 30 yards away, something like that. And after the spalling layer completely failed, that's what's left of it. It hit, and the projectile isn't actually going through the armor. What it's doing is it's exploding on the armor, but it's putting enough force into it fast enough to where it plugs out a section of the armor, and the section of the armor becomes a projectile. Well, when it exploded on the armor, it completely shattered the lens of my GoPro. I was in the middle of watching it when it got taken down. Oh, that sucks. That was a good video, too. I got like 8,000 views in an hour. Thank you for the super chat. Keep up the good work, man. Keep up the good work. Keep up the work you do for the 2A community. Yeah, thank you, man. Would hate to lose your account info. GunTubers. Why he needs help? Doesn't dog wait. What brand of armor? It was RTS Tactical. The plate is AR600. It looks like a 1/4 inch thick. I know I got a tape measure here somewhere. Just shy of a 1/4 inch thick. And then I didn't drop this video yet, but this is LA Police Gear NIJ Level 3 STA. And the shredder, when this was a brand new plate, the very first shot I hit it with was the shredder. I got a pass through on it, and then I shot the 45 grain 223. It almost went through, like there's a big bulge in the back, but it didn't quite make it. I think maybe like a 40 grain 223 would have went through that, possibly, or if that 45 grain was a non-hollow point. 45 moves faster than 55, better for armor penetration. Oh yeah, way better. The only thing that matters is speed. That's why I'm probably going to do a 204. So 45 grain, 5.56 is better than 55 grain. Only for armor penetration. Everything else it's going to suck at. Gun Guy TV live behind enemy lines. Where's YouTube based? 45 loses so much velocity at distance. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like 45 grain is only good at armor penetration, or only better than 55 grain at armor penetration, but it bleeds off velocity so quick. Like it slows down at a massive. It's like what, like 1,000 feet per second in 100 yards. Imagine slowing down in a car at 1,000 feet per second in 100 yards. You probably wouldn't survive that decel. Steel Jacketed Tula 556, YouTube, Steven Crowder. Yeah, if 220 Swift was in black tip, it would be unstoppable. Oh, holy crap. Thank you for the $20 super chat. New subscriber. I like your style. Keep it up. Thank you, man. Holy crap. A $4.99 super chat. 20 million. Count him. 20 million. Count him. contact him. Oh, he will help you. What's 20 million? But do I have any bigger subscribers in the chat right now that like has a link or an email I can use to get a hold of them? If you could PM me that on Instagram, that would be awesome. Because I need to talk to an actual YouTube person. Because if I'm failing in some point that's going to continue to get my videos taken down, I need to know. $20 super chat. Anything on the horizon from the ATF for the force reset trigger? I haven't heard anything yet. But they usually let things ride for like 6 months before they go and attack something. Go to Gun Guy TV. I will. I'll shoot them a comment and see if I can't get a hold of them. I'm pretty much just looking for people that have channels that are over 100,000, because at 100,000, you get an opportunity to get your YouTube moderator, agent. I don't know exactly what it's called. Your video on semi-automatic shotguns was taken down as well. Yeah, that was taken down. Steven Crowder follows me on Twitter, but I don't know him personally, or I'd hook you up. Yeah, you like even me, I just get bombarded with so many messages. You pretty much got to know the creator personally and tell them that, hey, I'd like you to get a hold of them, and then see if they agree to it or not. Because me just reaching out to them would be no different than you reaching out to them. If you can't get through to them, I'm never going to get through to them. What's your thoughts on 77 grain 5.56? Personally, if I'm going 77 grain, because that only takes dominance over the 55 grain at like 250 or 275 yards. I can't remember. So I would be making a platform that is specific for shooting at a longer distance. But at that longer distance, once I get to 300, I'm switching to something like a 243 or a 308 or a 6.5 Creedmoor, because it'll perform way better in that area. So I would want to be past 300 yards. Like that's what the rifle, the whole package is based specifically around doing. It would have to be something where I'm not worried about kinetic energy. So ideally paper, or something where I'm so weight restricted on the rifle itself. But typically when I see 5.56 rifles set up to shoot past 300 yards, they're over 8 pounds. And if you're going to go over 8 pounds, go to a bigger cartridge. Get up to an AR-10 size platform, because that's where they start, is 8 pounds, and build something that can actually work really well at that range. So myself, I have no use for 77 grain. I'll run 62 just because that's what the A2 sighting system is calibrated for. So in those particular weapon platforms, I'll run a 62. Other than that, I'm 55. 55 outperforms everything. Well, except for 45 grain when you're talking about armor penetration. Now, where are we here? 6.82. The ATF is now watching and taking names. Your video and released. 1.7 twist barrel works well with a 77 grain. Yeah, not bad. I'd still go with a 1.8 twist, just so I get a little bit better barrel life. Oh, 1.7, that is made specifically for a tracer unit. Or not a tracer unit, tracer projectile. Like, for example, the military was actually going to run a 1.9, but then they had the SAW program, which ran a specific tracer that needed a 1.7 barrel to stabilize it. Because they decided that, the soldiers might wind up with that tracer in their rifle, we got to put a 1.7 in that rifle as well, so they're able to stabilize it should they have to run that particular tracer. The 1.7 is for a very, very specific cartridge. I can't remember the name right now, but it's a tracer unit. And the bullet itself is actually longer than a 80 grain 5.56 projectile. So you need a 1.7 to stabilize it. Otherwise, if I'm going 1.7, it's because I'm running like a 90 grain or something like that. Ooh, $20 super chat. Needs help deploying an AAP or a APP. Man, overlay plugin that works with APRS to transport position, routes, waypoints, So, real through, no, anybody who can help. If I got someone to get it done, I will. I don't know at all what you're talking about. I don't know what APP or APRS is. Sorry, man. I just don't know. CRS Firearms, I think the 6.8 millimeter is the future. I don't know. I like 5.56. Do you prefer a carbine, mid, or rifle length gas system? I prefer either carbine or rifle length because that's what the A2 sighting system works on. The math just works out. A whole bunch of Marines sat down for a long time with a whole bunch of crayons. They worked out all the math. So if you're running a 62 grain projectile with a carbine gas system or a rifle gas system, everything you need to know is right there. Your wheel is already dialed in. Or if you have a more modern system that's already dialed in for that particular gas system, so all your BDC on those wheels and your little dials will work out. You go to the mid-length, well, now your math is all screwed up. If you run a 55 in those particular platforms, now your math is all screwed up. You run a 77 in those particular platforms, now your math is all screwed up. You got to run M855. You have to run that projectile for those sighting systems to be calibrated properly. So when we're talking about different gas systems, I'm either going rifle or carbine. What is the best load for a 16-inch 1.7 twist barrel in my AR-15? It really depends on your sighting system. You can run whatever you want depending on what you want to do with it. If it's a 16-inch AR-15 and you have like the little bar that flips up or down, or you have an A2 sighting system on it, that would be M855, so your sights are calibrated. Never meet your heroes. Turns them. Will you CRS Firearms? Any recommendations for the states I should move to if I want to actually get freedom? Right now, Wisconsin's pretty free, but we got a Democratic governor, so that could change at any time. I already talked to my girl. If things get bad here because of our particular governor that got elected, we're going to California. Or not California. Texas, because I think that'll probably be the last holdout. Green Tip 556, LOL. Can we legally buy tracer rounds? Yes. You can even buy armor-piercing ammunition, as long as it's not for a pistol. How does it go? You can possess, purchase, but you cannot manufacture AP ammo. But now the actual definition for AP ammo is only for pistol calibers. But there's also, a billion 5.56 pistol calibers. So basically, like how I interpret it, and I'm not a lawyer and don't take legal advice from me. I never even played a lawyer in a movie. Is you can buy all the AP, you can buy any ammunition you want. However, don't manufacture it because that's where you're falling into a gray area. Before it would be okay because there was no Thompson centers chambered in like 308 or something like that. But now that there is, they might try to twist the law and be like, well, there's a pistol chambered in that caliber. So that's a pistol caliber. Therefore, you manufactured armor-piercing ammunition. Therefore, you're a felon. CRS Firearms, I have a 1.7 twist barrel black rifle ordnance. I have shot groups all day with a 55 grain full metal jacket. Might be my favorite rifle. Nice. Texas is full. Go to MO. No Bob on Sunday. I points out. So carry green tip with my pistol. Is that legal? I don't know. Because the definition of armor-piercing ammunition got all weird. Now, the ATF actually challenged green tip, and we won it. And we're like, no, that's not AP ammo. Not to mention it can't be AP ammo because it's not a pistol caliber. I don't know. Now, a guy had sent me videos of the cops pulling him over, like, recently, and taking his pistol, saying it was an SBR, and then saying that he was in possession of armor-piercing ammunition with his pistol. So, I mean, I guess it really depends on your local law enforcement, how they're going to try to enforce it. Now, when it goes to a court, will you win or lose? You'll probably win. I don't know. CRS Firearms, great channel. Keep up the fight. Sad but true that targets moved to Detroit. Have you ever heard of the dagger? It's supposed to armor piercing channel. They love to. So. With a 1.9 twist rate. Should be used for a 10.5 barrel with a 1.9 twist rate. If you don't have a sighting issue, the M193 is a superior ammunition to the M855. You're going to want to go M193. It's a higher velocity projectile. It's going to do more damage. It's going to fly flatter. The only reason I go with M855 is if I have the A2 sighting system. Otherwise, the M193 performs equally on penetration. I mean, yeah, you could probably find a particular test with a particular media where the 62 grain penetrator performs slightly better. But generally speaking, they'll perform equally across the board. But the M855 is going to drop quicker. It's going to be less accurate because there's two different materials inside of the bullet. And it's going to fly slower. There's no reason to go with M855 unless you are using a military sighting system, like an ACOG that's calibrated for it, your A2 sighting system, that one with the little dial that flips up and down, the one I got on the MLP. Otherwise, go with M193. It's a superior cartridge. Black tip is, green tip is what? Is tungsten. Black tip is, green tip is just... No, the green tip, people cut them open and they threw them on a Rockwell hardness. They only got a hardness of like 30 something like that. Tungsten will be up around 70. I stick my mags 15-15 with M855 and M193. Cover it all. Love my mini. How's it going? Any channels on mags? Best 5.56 grain for a 10.5 inch barrel. I'd probably go with 55 grain. 300 Win Mag or bigger will go through armor. It all depends on the velocity. It doesn't matter on the actual cartridge and bullet weight itself. It's how quick it's going. This is 45 grain 223. But it's flying at 3,600 feet per second. So let's pretend I took my 300 PRC and put like, what, 168 grain projectile, something like that in there. 160, somewhere in there. It would go through that armor. If I got up to like a 180 or some, at the point where I drop below like 3,000 feet per second, I could hammer on this all day long with a 300 Win Mag or 300 PRC and it's not going to touch it. You got to be like 3,200 feet per second to go through level 3 plus. Now to go through level 4, it's going to be a higher velocity. I don't know what it is because nobody ever seems to test that. They usually just slap it with stuff that was never going to go through in the first place, like 45-70 or 12 gauge. Like, why would you do that? That was such a waste of time. 454 Kasu, like it's laughable. What's the most you spent on armor? I haven't actually spent anything on armor. Most people send me the armor so I can destroy it, but kind of sucks because if they're going to take down every video I put up with me destroying armor, that kind of kills that. What was the barrel length required to get through the armor with a 45 grain? I don't know if it would have went through with a 16-inch barrel. I'll have to test that, but I was running a 20-inch barrel. YouTubers normal or free space video platforms. What about max load 357 or 10 mil? No, those are too slow. It doesn't matter how heavy the bullet is unless you get up to something like this big out of a cannon. Nothing is going to bust through a steel armor unless you're up above 3,100 feet per second. It's not even worth trying to caliber unless you're above 3,000 feet per second. Anything below 3,000 feet per second is not going to touch it. You've got to be up faster. You got to be in like hunting category, like 130 grain 270, like 160 grain 300 Win Mag, or like I think you might even be able to get away with 180 grain. 180 grain or like 160 grain 300 PRC, or like 125 grain 308, something like that. Those are the calibers that are going to go through. Everything else is just going to splatter. Because remember, they're not actually going through the armor. You can see where the bullet exploded. What it's doing is it's hitting this and it's putting enough vibration in it because of the velocity. It fractures in a circle. The bullet's gone. That just exploded. It's gone. And then it takes a chunk of that armor and it turns that into a projectile and it accelerates that up to like 2,000 feet per second. That little chunk that it accelerated out, I had a tire behind that piece of armor, laying flat. It went through one side, the actual part that touches the road. It went through one side and out the other. So it still had enough velocity and enough kinetic energy to go through both sides of a tire, but it's not the bullet anymore. It's just a chunk of the armor plate itself. 50 grain API, $4.50 per round. Wrong. Would a 5.7 go through that armor? If it's got a tungsten core or if it's moving above 3,000 feet per second. Otherwise, no, it's not going to go through. Is there a 5.56 round that will penetrate armor with a 16-inch barrel? You're going to be looking at like AP4. Because they actually have a tungsten core tip in it. So you don't need as much velocity, because when you slap this with a piece of lead and copper, they explode. They're gone. The projectile doesn't exist anymore. The chunk of armor becomes the projectile. Now, when you hit it with a tungsten core, that's actually going to hold its shape. So the tungsten core is actually going to be going through. So you don't need as much velocity. It's just got to have enough momentum to push on through. With lead and copper, you need the velocity because you're not actually going through. You're just causing a fracture, and then it's popping it out like a little paper punch, and it's shooting that piece out the back. M2AP. Yeah, M2AP will, because that's a harder steel. AP 5.56 is important. What do you keep going wrong again about? I literally recorded it with a camera right there. You could see the bullet explode on the armor. And then I went behind the tire with the camera. Even though the bullet exploded on the armor and you watched it explode, there was still a hole through both sides of the tire. Mix your mags M193, M855, ceramic. I'm telling you, you mix your mags. Also turns, I'll send you a pic of what they can do. 3D printed vape mod. Thank you for the $10 super chat. I just run one type of ammo. Like my Black 13, that is loaded up strictly with M193. This way the gun's predictable. I know exactly what it's going to do. Now, like the MLP, I have that because I have a military sighting system on there and I want them to be calibrated. I have that loaded up strictly with M855. This way it's predictable, it's repeatable, I can keep it going. Vape mount. BD. No need to worry about body armor. Most don't wear body armor over their face. right? 193, good for any brand like IMI and Winchester. Is M193 good? No, because I just got some PMC and I chronographed it. M193 should come out of a 20-inch barrel like 3,000 feet per second, 3,100 feet per second. The PMC, 2,800. The Fiocchi, 2,800. I was wondering why they don't have the velocity listed on the box, but now I understand, because they're way underpowered and they're shooting cold. You should chrono your M193, and if it's not like up around 3,000, 3,100 feet per second, that's a bad brand. Because that's what makes M193 special, is the velocity. Without the velocity, it's not a very good cartridge. A 243 would be an AR-10. Yes, that's what the shredder is. That is a 243. I'm running 55 grain projectiles. Now I have one mag loaded up where it'll spike up around 3,900 feet per second. But I think I'm a little bit too hot because I keep getting cases stuck. If you see my last video, you've seen where I had to clear a malfunction. Casings get stuck, so then I drop the charge down to like 3,700 feet per second, and that seems to be running smooth. It could just be the barrel I'm running. Maybe if I had a chrome line barrel, that wouldn't happen. Yeah, 3250 is what you're supposed to get M193 directly out of the muzzle. So a couple of feet down, you should be like at least like 31 minimal. $5 super chat. Thank you, man. I don't know if you meant to leave a comment, but it didn't show up. What the F is a AR-20? I have no idea. 20-inch barrel. AR 20-inch barrel. A 20 gauge. Oh, apparently an AR-20 is a 20 gauge AR-15 platform. Seems to me like 243 is, yeah, it's way underrated. And I've been there. I was there myself. Everybody was buying 243s, and I'm like, you guys are idiots. Why would you not just get a 308? And then I started learning about armor. And I learned about the armor's velocity limitations. And I learned about how softly recoiling a 243 is. Like, I can rapid fire with a 243. Yes, it's more recoil than a 223, but not by that much. I can just do without my scope really moving and do this, like, repeatedly. 243 is known as a hunting rifle for years. Yeah, that's what I thought 243 was a hunting rifle, and that's it. There's no reason for anything else. 220 Swift is better than 223. Yeah, but if I'm correct, the 220 Swift can't go inside of a magazine because the the cartridge has a taper on it. That's the same thing with like a 22-250. Because when I was building the BA shredder, I'm like, oh, I should go 22-250 because then I can run FMJ 556 projectiles and had the best chance at penetrating armor. But then I found out the casing had a taper to it, which means it won't go in the mag because the mag wall would get in the way. It would require like an AK-47 style magazine, which isn't going to fit inside an AR-10 platform. So unfortunately, like 22-250, 220 Swift, those are bolt action only calibers. Uh, 2250. Oh yeah, 2250 will destroy armor plate. Like that. That's a fast cartridge. Price of 243 right now is kicking my freaking butt. Yeah, I'm actually reloading 243 now until that shit becomes available again. Double barrel AR, one barrel 5.56, one barrel 7.62. Joking. Rabbit, wolf, dither. No problem. Rogue, obviously, if YouTube is 130 grain 270. Yeah, 130 grain 270, that would be an armor eating machine. Plus, I'm pretty sure you can get 130 grain 270 in an FMJ projectile. I have to check, but because it's the same projectile as a 6.8 SPC, which you could get in a full FMJ, I'm willing to bet you could get 130 grain 270 in an FMJ. A 180 grain 270 would just bounce off of armor. It wouldn't even touch it. What's the barrel length on your 243? 20 inches. What's the barrel length? What is a good ammunition for a standard AR-15? It all depends on your sighting system. If you got a military-style sighting system, you're going to have to go M855. Always, it's not going to be calibrated. Always, you're going to want to run M193. Superior cartridge on almost every single level. What about a .17 mag? I am not familiar with that cartridge. Love my ACOG. Dude, ACOGs are awesome. And your barrel twist, 55 grain, 243 WSSM. I don't even know if they make that cartridge anymore. Thoughts on 545? I'm just going American. I'm going 556. 100% fact, I have got them green tips. Kids make me LOL. What about a 260 rem? Oh, that's a 6.5. 260 rems are right if you throw on your own barrel. If you go and just out and buy a FUD gun 260 rem, it's going to suck because it's going to have too slow of a barrel twist in order to get those really long projectiles with a really high BC. However, you build a 260 rem, well, that's a 6.5 Creedmoor with more powder space. Therefore, you can put a little bit more stank behind it, get a little bit more powder out of it. So it will outperform a 6.5 Creedmoor if you've built the rifle. However, you pick a 260 rem off of the shelf, it's going to have the wrong barrel twist to get the high BC to be able to go a long distance. There's a downside. A 260 rem is the same case diameter as, say, a 308. So it would be tough, but it is possible to get a 308 jammed into a 260 rem, and as we know, a 30 caliber projectile is not going to go down a 6.5 bore, and you would just blow your gun apart. Now, if you go 6.5 Creedmoor, because they're cut deeper, it's not possible. You will never get a 308 cartridge into a 6.5 Creedmoor. So therefore, if you already have a 308, 6.5 Creedmoor is a better option. If you don't have a 308 or a 243, then I'd be looking at a 260 rem, but it'd be something I built with like a 1.8 twist barrel or maybe a 1.7, so I can run really, really long bullets to get the really high BC. 308 is a short 30-06, less recoil. They're running pretty similar pressure, so the recoil is pretty similar. It all depends on how the gun is set up. Best barrel length for a 308. 308 really isn't that barrel sensitive, so as long as you're above, like, I think you can go down as low as, like, don't quote me on this because I'm not looking at stats, but I think you can go down as low as, like, close to 10-inch before the velocity really falls off. But between, like, a 16-inch barrel on a 308 and a 28-inch barrel or 26-inch barrel, you're only losing, like, 200 feet per second. Now, a 16-inch barrel, that'll take you out to 800 yards before it goes transonic. So if you want to go to 1,000 yards, then you're going to have to go to the 20-inch barrel to get, I think it's like an extra 50 feet per second or something like that. Again, I'm not looking at the numbers, so don't quote me on it, but it's not very much. 6.8 SPC versus 6.5. I'd go 6.5 all day long. Do a twist rate and grain stay this. Do twist rate and grain weights stay the same across calibers? I think you're asking, like, it's not grain weights that you need a twist rate for. It's length of your projectile. For example, all right, this will be my project. Do I actually have a projectile somewhere? No, I don't. So if this is my projectile, the longer the projectile is, the more unstable it is, the more the back end wants to pass it. So if you have a really short, chunky projectile, you don't need a fast twist rate to stabilize that. As your projectile gets longer and longer and longer and longer, you need to spin it faster to make it stay stable So the ass end, because the ass end's heavier than the front end, so it does not pass the front end or start doing a tumble like this. That's where you get your keyholing from. Every particular cartridge, how to word that? Every projectile will require a particular twist rate depending on its length to its bore diameter. That's why, like a 6.5 Creedmoor, like when you're talking about 308 size casings, the 6.5 or the 6 millimeter will typically outperform the 30 cal because you can't get enough powder behind it to put a long enough projectile in it to be able to go the distance. So, like, with a 308 size case, you can take a 6 millimeter or 6.5 projectile and get the longest projectile you want and still have enough powder to accelerate that to a respectable velocity. You can't do that with a 308. You're going to run out of steam at like a 180. Like, that's all she wrote, and you're like way down in the velocity. You're getting close to like 2,500. Now you take that same 30 caliber projectile and shove it on, like, say, a 300 PRC. Well, now you can go up with like a 230, a 250, something like that. That's where you're going to need your really fast twist rates, like a 1.8, 1.9, something like that. That's why your 308s, you will only typically see those in like 112, 11.5, somewhere in there, because you're never going to shoot past the 180 grain. It's going to always stay between like 130 and 180, somewhere in there. So if that makes any sense. Where are we here? M193 is, yeah, that's correct. PS90 ammo elite. Ammo 3,400 feet per second. PS90 S4 ammunition elite. 55 grain under 255 yards, 77 grain. 6.5 Grendel or 6.5 Creedmoor. 6.5 Creedmoor all the way. The 6.5 Grendel, you have like no velocity when you're running a similar projectile compared to the 6.5 Creedmoor. Now, if I was just shooting 1,000 yards and I was just worried about paper, all I needed to do was punch a hole to score. Yeah, 6.5 Grendel is a great option because it's cheaper, lighter, less recoil. But dude, it's got like no velocity. So when you're actually talking about like hunting or like, yeah, I'm going 6.5 Creedmoor if those are the two calibers I have to pick between. PMC Grendel is AR-15. Creedmoor is AR-10. Why do you need help? What happened? I'm getting videos pulled. And what I need help with, you guys, because I know because there are some of you in the crowd that talk to me on a regular basis. I guess you could call we have a relationship. I was hoping that some of you guys that have a relationship with other channels over 100,000 subscribers could reach out to them for me. Because always, if I reach out to them, it's just they don't know they don't know me from Adam. I don't have any extra pull because I have subscribers, so I would have to build up a relationship, stuff like that, and talk to them and see if you can get them to come help me. I need to get a hold of my YouTube moderator or something like that, because once you get over 100,000 subscribers, you can take. It's called a YouTube, I think it's moderator. And then it's an agent that's assigned specifically to your channel. So if you have any questions or any problems, you can talk to them directly. I don't have one. I had an option to get one back in January, but I didn't take the option. I should have, but I didn't because I was having good luck. And I've had a bad experience with YouTube reviewers to where for like 2 weeks, no matter what I put out, it gets demonetized. So I'm like, well, if I get a bad moderator, I'm going to hurt myself. And I'm pretty sure I'm stuck with that one until I find a new job. So I didn't take one. But now I'm starting to get videos pulled regularly. I've had 2 videos pulled this week. So what I need is a moderator so I can talk to them and be like, hey, what's going on? Is this a mistake? Is there something that I can do to prevent this? Do I have a future on YouTube? Should I be looking at a different job? What's going on? I need some answers. Can you buy/make M955. You can buy it on Gun Broker. I think it's like $5 a round or something like that. Now, when it gets to making it, it gets weird because there's 5.56 pistols, like a lot of them. You can't make armor-piercing ammunition for a pistol. So if you have a rifle, technically you can legally make it, but if the feds show up and you're making AP ammo by pulled tips or something like that, they may take you to court anyway and be like, no, that's pistol ammo. That means it's armor-piercing ammunition. That means you're breaking the law. Do you have night vision? No, I got gun shy. I was starting to look at night vision, and there was so many conflicting opinions, and I couldn't find solid information. I just gave up on night vision for now. $300 PRC has gone nowhere. I've had 2 companies promise me they could get me a barreled action, and I've had 2 companies fail to deliver. So I canceled my order at the first company. I placed it at the second one, which promised shipping within 2 weeks. It's been 2 months. No barreled action. I also gave up on the titanium action because no one can get them. So I went with the stainless steel action because if I went with the stainless steel action, they said 2 weeks and it could be shipped out. Nothing. So I'm still waiting for an action and a barrel. Night vision versus thermal. They both have their advantages. You can get combination night vision thermal. That's pretty cool. You'll be into it for like 10 grand. Then you go bolt action, good glass. Firearms content guidelines. And I went through the guidelines. Maybe they think I'm under the age of 18 and I didn't have parental supervision, or they determined I wasn't handling the firearm safely, maybe. I don't know. When you getting night vision? It'll be for a while yet. Now that the whole video polling thing happened, I'm going to have to pull back from YouTube a little bit and secure some investments in some other areas to make sure that if I did lose my ability to make money on this platform, then I just don't need the money. So my next 2 YouTube checks aren't going towards YouTube. So unfortunately, we're not going to see any new guns for a little bit. However, if my girl keeps on my ass and I keep forward with this, I'm about to drop a patent that'll be a game changer. So that'll be pretty cool. I've had it in the cooking since last October, but I had no idea how incredibly hard it was to file a patent. So I put it on the back burner. But now that this is happening and my income is being threatened, I'm going to push the patent through and we'll have some cool stuff. I wanted to partner up with someone, but then that fell through because I needed extra financial help. But we'll be doing it all on my own, it looks like. And then we're going to push that through, and then it won't matter if I lose my YouTube money because I'll have enough money coming in through another area. You still got Gunstreamer? Yes, I got Gunstreamer, but for whatever reason, I can't figure out how to upload directly to Gunstreamer. And the video's got to be on YouTube for a little bit for Gunstreamer to rip it off YouTube and put it onto their Gunstreamer platform. So that video doesn't exist, but I'll chop it up over the next couple of months and drop little pieces of it as I talk about it in other videos. Why are you worried about night vision? People make fun of me because I like 308, 10K and up. How good is 30-06 against armor? 30-06 isn't bad if you got the M2 ammunition. That's typically the golden standard for where they rate armor anyway. However, it's a pretty slow cartridge, so unless you shove a 120 or a 130 grain in there, it's not effective at all against armor. Can W8 to steel penetration? I just wanted a PTR that isn't 7.5 thousand. Upload the video to the site. I'll call it back on Firearms. I've been told Smith & Wesson AR-10s, 308s, a good weapon. I've had pretty good luck with Smith & Wessons, but at that same price, I'd go Wyndham Weaponry because you get a far superior barrel. With the, what is it, M&P 10, I think is what it is, you're only getting a 4140 non-chrome line barrel. Now, if you go with, like, say, the Wyndham Weaponry, then you're getting a 4150 chrome line barrel. So you're getting a barrel that's worth, like, an extra $200. I don't know what the price difference is between the two rifles, but that's the direction I would go. Remember, you don't have a job, you have a business. Sure. I'm from Darkstream. What's up? Not much, man. What's going on? I just want an SVD that isn't some point. Remember, you don't have a job, you have a business. YouTube. Wyndham is Bushmaster. Thinking about this expert for double action. But all right, guys, it's 11 o'clock. What are we doing? You're trying to get a hold of a bigger creator, somebody that has over 100,000 subscribers, and ask them if they have the time to come talk to me to find out how I can get my YouTube reviewer, because I don't know how to get that person. I need help getting through to YouTube. So, like, maybe they could talk to their reviewer and have a reviewer get a hold of me or something, because now all of a sudden I'm having problems with videos getting taken down. The first one I thought got taken down because I was talking to someone in the comments section. Turns out that wasn't the case. I was completely wrong about that. I apparently got a bad human reviewer right now. But all right, guys, it's 11 o'clock. Hit in your last comments. I'm going to roll. Again, obviously, Super Chats get priority, but I'll try to hit as many as I can. What if the guy only has 49K? You got to have over 100K in order to get a YouTube reviewer and actually be able to talk to anyone. You have to contact half Asian lawyers. YouTube is CRS, go to sleep. You got a raid at 5 a.m. Yeah, I got to get to sleep because I got to be out and at it at 5 a.m. and go shoot some dogs. Bill Richmond. It is ATF glows. That's all. Your YouTube reviewer is obviously a leftist, most likely, and that's normal. It appears through my past experience you have a YouTube reviewer for about 2 weeks. So I got this one at the beginning of the week, so at least for the next 2 weeks I'll have takedowns. And I don't know when takedowns turn into channel strikes. You only get 3 channel strikes in a 90-day period, and then you have channel deletion. So pretty nervous. $2 super chat. K.1LL a mile for mommy. Oh, I get it. I wonder if you're the guy that always comes into the shop. If so, thank you, man. 5 a.m. raid in Coloma. ATF, the store, the best gun shop is one. We have one. We need it. If you get deleted, would you find a new account? Oh, yeah, if I get deleted, I'll jump right back into it. Now that I've already been through the learning curve, I'd be able to build a channel very quickly. Any hints on your product? Yeah, it's something that is amazing. It's one of those things that when it comes out, it'll be like, dude, why didn't I think of that? Does the shop have a website? No, well, kind of. It's weird. Any plans on 3D printing guns? No, not really. Need to make a car firearm channel now so we can subscribe there before anything happens. Just make a couple of vids, know how we can help take down. Printed. Why don't you make a second backup channel? It's impossible to run 2 channels. I mean, if anything, I guess you guys could always subscribe at my daughter's channel, but I don't know if that'll ever go anywhere. I just started it up like years ago this way. It's been there since day one, so she's got videos of her as a little kid, and then someday she'll take it over. Any other social media platforms? I'm on Gunstreamer. I need Gundam. Get Zone. You need to talk to James Yeager. But all right, guys, I appreciate the help. I'm definitely going to get a hold of Reno May. And the hell's that guy's name? Technical Toolbox, because those I've actually had communications with. And I feel like they'd be the best people that could help me. If there's anybody you guys talk to on the regular where you actually have a relationship with them, tell them I'm looking for help and see if they'd get a hold of me. But you all have a good night. Thank you for stopping by my stream. And definitely thank you for those super chats.